We just got another one. Post 4th of July fireworks, as the Miami Hurricanes have added an elite interior offensive lineman to that great wall of Mirabal from the 702 to the 305. SJ Alofaituli, welcome to the U.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Just like that, Miami has gone 4 for 4 this week. Gavin Nix on Monday, Darian Coleman Wednesday, Hilton Drake Stubbs on Thursday, and then the cherry on top of the sundae is SJ Alofaituli on Friday. I am Alex Donno, University of Miami alumnus, longtime South Florida sports radio vet, writer from allhurricanes.com. Thank you so much to the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch today. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Locked On College for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. We're going to talk about SJ Alofaituli, what he adds to this Miami Hurricanes team once he arrives in 2025, and some of the other moves Miami has made. No better time than the present to bring on the recruiting overlord, Brian Smith. So, Brian, Miami gets a big-time offensive lineman from Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas. What have you seen over the years of SJ Alofaituli?
He was at Future 50 last year. That was my one specific opportunity to see him live. Obviously, he's a West Coast kid, and he was the best lineman there. Very good balance, doesn't get out over his feet, and he attacks when he needs to. He's been really, really well coached. They might have the best offensive line chemistry of any high school program in the country at Bishop Gorman, and it shows. Whether it's in pass pro or whether it's him kicking out or whether he's down blocking, doesn't matter. He stays with a low base. He powers through his hips, and he keeps a nice center with everything he does, doesn't get off kilter. That's a kid that's going to come in well advanced of just about any other player in the country.
6'3", 295 pounds, 24/7 Sports rates him as the second best interior offensive lineman in the entire country. So this is a big-time get. So I personally think he could very well end up being the center of the future. He can, of course, play guard as well. Brian, is there either spot, and I guess any spot, because left or right guard or center, is there any spot you think he projects out better as?
Well, they've got a unique situation because Max Buchanan he's a kid I know well. He's a Floridian. He wants to play center or at least be given a shot at it. So it's kind of like who fits in where best. They might be the two best long-term center prospects in the entire class in the country. And Miami's obviously been bringing in guys from the portal to make it work. I think Mirabal wants to find his guy. They might have to do it one more time, but I think in 2026, Miami will have high school kids that have developed under his regime. So these two are really, really good. Let them battle it out.
Yeah, how important is it? Bishop Gorman High School, Miami, Brevin Jordan was a player they landed from there.
That's right.
Years ago. They've got Elijah Lofton coming in from Bishop Gorman this year, SJ Alofaituli next year. That's one of the big time programs in the country, Brian. How important is it for South Florida team, but to recruit nationally with a program like that?
It's very important. You're not going to get all the kids from South Florida. You're always going to have to get guys outside the box once in a while, and everybody recruits at high school. That you just about have to. They have 4 or 5 guys a year that are going to play Power 5, and right now you can make an argument he's their best player, and he's the pivot guy. It's a critical spot. So I think Miami's done a good job of recruiting on the West Coast. They got kids coming in for visits every year. This is a great example of why recruiting nationally is important. If you can get a kid like ESPN has him 10th overall.
Wow.
Like what's that tell you? I mean, centers just don't get ranked like that very often.
Yeah.
But we've all seen him live. And again, when he was at Future 50 last year, it was concrete. SJ was the best guy there as an offensive lineman. And you can make an argument that he was probably the best guy there, just consistency overall, regardless of position. He's so technically sound. He's really, really good.
So welcome to the SJ Alofaituli. And, Brian, just yesterday, 4th of July, I haven't had a chance to talk with you yet about Hilton Drake Stubbs. I know when we first started to, since his USC decommitment, we've been talking about him the last couple of weeks. And for a while, it looked like probably a 50-50 type thing between Florida and Miami. The momentum, though, shifted heavily in Miami's favor, and Miami was able to land Hilton Stubbs yesterday, despite the fact that he grew up a Florida fan. So I think that's a testament to how well Miami recruited Stubbs.
This is why I always bring up relationships. Miami staff does an incredible job of not worrying about where they are currently on the board with a kid, whether that young man or his family grew up rooting for the Hurricanes. This is who we are. We're going to get to know you. We're going to show you what we can do. Come on down for a visit. Miami's visits, as you know, as a grad, it's a pretty easy place to sell. So he had a great visit to you. And once you get down there, anything's possible. But I think they kind of leapfrog Florida there. I remember somebody saying he had a 10 out of 10 kind of visit. I don't know what all went on, but he's comfortable. Anything that he said in that commitment ceremony, you could just tell he was so excited to be a part of Miami's program. They did a great job. So Florida being on the hot seat with the head coach probably doesn't hurt, but I think this is more UM winning than Florida losing.
It's really well said, all of it. So welcome to the USJ Alofaituli. Still to come on this episode, we're going to talk with Stevo. You guys know and love Stevo. 365 Canes Info does film breakdowns for Canes County on Rivals as well. So huge shout out and thank you to Brian Smith. Make sure you follow him on X at FBScout_Florida. Check out his work at allhurricanes.com. Brian is a colleague of mine there, does a fantastic job. Brian, thank you so much. Enjoy your weekend coming up.
Thank you very much. You do the same, sir.
Love it. So you guys want to keep it locked right here. We're going to have Stevo from 365 Canes Info when we come back. My friends, we're only getting started on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. You want to keep it locked. You definitely want to keep it locked to eBay Motors because passion, drive, and patience. That's the formula for winning championships. It's also what takes your ride or die. It's what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch today. All these players Miami keeps adding. I figured we have to bring on Stevo because Stevo, his film breakdowns are the best in the business. You see them at 365 Canes Info on X. You see his work for Canes County on Rivals. And so glad to have you back on, Stevo. How you been?
Doing good, man. Doing blessed. It's always great when your head coach is Mario Cristobal and it's June, July, because you'll always be on a roll.
No doubt about that. And so we got a lot of players to talk about, but I want to talk about the newest one because Miami just got the verbal commitment from SJ Alofaituli, 4-star interior offensive lineman, my favorite offensive lineman in the class. I'm so happy he's a Miami Hurricane. I know you've done the breakdown, Stevo. What jumps out to you most about SJ?
Just nastiness. I mean, you get, I hate to put players in like a stigma or put them in there, but like Samoan players, Pacific Islander players, they're usually super nasty. They're super nasty on tape. This guy, but he has great technique, great pad level. I mean, he just looks like he was well coached at Bishop Gorman. I've seen a lot of Bishop Gorman kids over the year. They are hella well coached, especially in the trenches. So I think what would pop to me is his nastiness. And then, Coach Mirabal and Coach Mario probably, had a field day looking at his film, the way he combo blocks, great using his inside shoulder and keeping his outside open so he can get up to the second level. A lot of good things that, gap. He can do every blocking scheme. He can go 1v1. He's probably quick enough to play tackle, but I don't think that would be his strong suit. He'll probably stick inside. But he moves around a lot, man. You'll see him, making pancakes 20 yards downfield, 15 yards downfield. I mean, this whole class of offensive line, 6'3 plus, 285 plus, and they can move. They're guys who can, everybody's going to get cross-trained. Everybody's going to have to make moves. So I love it. I think anybody who sees his film after like the first 10 pancakes, you're going to be like, oh my God.
I was watching it yesterday and I was thoroughly entertained. I was like, man, pancake after pancake. So you mentioned playing inside, which I agree with. Do you think he's going to end up being guard or center at Miami?
The way this class is shaping out, in my opinion, they're going to get cross-trained within center guard. I do believe he's the best prospect for center, in my opinion, when it comes to now we have 5 O-lineman commits. So if we were just going to put a guy in, I'd probably throw, Wilkerson at left tackle, then you can put TK at left guard, then you put SJ at center. And then next thing you know, Max Buchanan at right guard. I think that's a really good spot for him. I think that's a really good one. And then right tackle will go Campbell. So if we had to just pick it like that, I think SJ out of the 5, probably makes the most sense to play center. And we kind of haven't had a plan at center since the decommitment of Connor Lew, to be real with you. So nice to see that, get a big guy in like that, big stud. And, he played everybody. If you've seen the Miami Central versus Bishop Gorman game, he's a monster. Elijah Lofton, he's putting holes up for him. You see him on tape, you just see number 9 just following him the whole time. And I get it. I would too. It's good vision. But yeah, what a monster, bro. I would assume he would, probably take a crack at center first, because let's be real, when Carpenter leaves, we're going to be either looking at another transfer or hoping he plays as a freshman, because there's really not a plan right now at backup center.
Yeah, no, it's good to hear. You talk about the other members of the O-line class, and yeah, Miami's got 5 now in the class of 2025, also with Max Buchanan, Demetrius Campbell, TK Muex, and Jaden Wilkerson. Who do you like, and what do you like most out of the rest of that group?
I know we just talked about it a little bit off air, but I love Campbell's athleticism. I mean, he's a big rebounder in basketball. He has hoops. He can get up and down the floor. You see on his film, he can get up and down the field effortlessly, and he carries that weight really well. He's a 300-pounder, but bro, if you seen him with his shirt off, you would think, he's a regular guy. I mean, he really carries that weight well. Really good footwork from basketball. That's somebody I'm really intrigued about seeing. Somebody you're going to probably hear noise about, going into his spring or sophomore season. You'll hear like, oh, hey, this guy's starting to make some noise. Like you're starting to hear about Kinsler, guys that they just wanted to develop their body. And the next thing you know, once they started, chopping wood every day, and then next time you meet him, they're like, oh, he's making noise. He's making noise. I think he could be one of those type of guys.
Since we're talking offensive line, I want to talk about the present as well. Who do you think is going to end up being the starting left guard this season at Miami?
I really do think it's a 2-man race, unless they switch a position. I want to go with Samson Okunlola. I'll go with Pancake. I do believe he's battling Kinsler and Matthew McCoy. My thing is, I love Matthew McCoy, but I really do think he's better on the outside at tackle. It's not saying it's doing him a disservice at guard. I think he'll be more than serviceable at guard. But I do think that, Pancake missing that year last year with the knee injury, not being able to get those reps. But then him coming back, having a slow start to spring, but then really starting to explode once he kind of like felt more comfortable with his body. I think they're going to try to, keep mending that upward trajectory. Because if he's still going like this in fall camp, it'll be hard to take that away from him.
So I want to go back to recruiting, because it's been such a busy week, Stevo. And, I want to talk about the second most recent commit. And we did do an episode yesterday, if you guys missed it, because it was the 4th of July. But if you missed the episode we did on Locked on Canes about Hilton Drake Stubbs, you can check that out on any audio platform. You can check it out on YouTube. But and you can check out Stevo's film breakdowns as well. He does an awesome job. So, all right, so Hilton Stubbs, and there's so much to like there, Stevo. I know one of the plays going around was him saving a touchdown and just leveling a dude, which reminds us of some of the safeties of years past in Miami uniforms. What does the film say to you about Drake Stubbs?
He's a stud. I mean, obviously he played 7-on-7 with us. My first time meeting him, I was out there in LA, and he had just flew from Bama. Bama just made it happen for him to go visit. He worked out in front of Coach Nick Saban, and the comments that came out of that workout and the offer behind it and the monetary, hey, come here, told me, okay, he's probably really good. So then that very first day, I seen him. He had like 4 interceptions in that tournament day. So I was like, yeah, he's pretty like that. But the film, man, he's a do-it-all safety. He has so much range. He's gonna bait guys. We call it selling dreams. He's gonna be sitting on the hash and letting quarterbacks think they have that deep throw or this, and then he's just gonna turn around, put his foot in the ground, and go up there and get it. Very great ball skills. I mean, like, he's picking balls up off the turf, diving, like, just really, really good ball skills. Like, man, like I really can. His best trait is definitely his range, but he's such an all-around safety. Like he's a great open field tackler, like probably one of the best open field tacklers you'll find in high school level, because he's huge, he's fast. A lot of those guys just, don't even see what they hit. They just going. He breaks down. You see on film, bro, he always breaks down, helmet to the side, just a natural football player. And something that Canes fans probably, don't get to see on film, but bro, he has infectious energy, bro. When anybody's down on the sideline, bro, he's picking them up. Everybody's looking to him to make the plays. And then when he makes the plays, he lets everybody know that he told him he got him. Very infectious energy. I mean, all around stupid talent, to be real with you. And like tight ends in the slot, oh my God, bro. He's great in man coverage. You put that big slot to number 3 in that trip side and think he's gonna get something on Drake, bro. It's not gonna happen, bro. That's an alpha dog. That might be probably the funnest recruitment I've watched behind the scenes, because he was all Gators for a long time, and it hurt my heart. It would hurt my heart because I'm hearing this and I'm like, come on, baby, let's get to this youth. Come on, Drake. Come on, Drake. Then the whole USC thing, when we took him on a visit to USC with Rob. We were on a tournament out there. Then they caught traction, and then I was like, I don't think he's leaving the state for real. And then as it came close, and it really became a Miami and Florida battle behind the scenes, it was just great to see Coach Mario literally stuff Coach Billy in a locker. There's no other way to explain it, because he loved UF, and his brother plays for Florida State, so we just literally big boyed the other two.
I love that. Yeah, and with the USC thing, it's like, is it just hard for them to hold on to East Coast kids? Because it seems like every time they get big time East Coast players to commit to them, it's only a matter of time before they walk that back.
Yeah, because they find out how much of that NIL deal, 49.9% of that is going to freaking Governor Newsom. Like,
right?
They a lot of these kids don't realize that. Yeah. That $1.8 million deal looked great. I mean, I'm just throwing a random number out. I don't
sure.
But it's going to be 0.8 or 0.9 by the time it touches your hand. Because I mean,
that's a great point.
You're in California playing taxes. There was a little bit of something going on there. They had an exemption. I ain't going to throw their whole business out there, but they had a little thing going on where they were able to protect the little kids from NIL, or protect some taxes from NIL, but that's gone. And that's why you've seen all those kids decommit. That's why you saw kids flirt with hitting the portal, because all their deals that they already signed were, oh man, like what the hell? Like now I'm getting half of what I was getting, or a significant chunk lower than what I was getting, and that's why you've seen kids hitting it from USC. I knew for a fact once that it came out, where that the numbers started to come out, what you would realistically get. I was like, I ain't going out west for that.
Florida's the place to be, man. Well, we got a lot more I want to talk about with Stevo, including Miami. They're going to try to get some good news later on this month with a couple of prospects. I want to talk about what might be next. And again, I can't tell you guys what a great job he does. Hopefully you already know about Stevo's work, but if you haven't, the film breakdowns are second to none, and we're going to continue on. You guys want to keep it locked right here on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. Guys, there's a reason why Game Time is the only ticket app that I use. Right now, especially on Game Time, cheaper for me to take my son to a Marlins game than take him to the new Minions movie. I'm looking at $3 tickets, sometimes $1 tickets to the Miami Marlins. Great tickets for concerts, all sorts of sporting events. And folks, the deals at Game Time actually get better the closer you get to kickoff time, first pitch time, what have you. Guys, you could save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats at Game Time ahead of the game or the event. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thank you so much for making this episode of Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch today. Hey, are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news. Streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. So we got Stevo 365 Canes info on X, does an awesome job on the rival site, and Raw 7-on-7. This man is all over the place. So Stevo, do you have any expectation in 12 days with what's going to happen with DJ Pickett? Because it's being characterized as a Miami versus Oregon battle for him. Some folks also saying LSU is still very much alive. You know, he's a Miami legacy. His uncle, his cousin now enrolled at Miami. What do you think is going to happen with DJ Pickett?
My heart wants to tell me he's a Hurricane. Because I do think we have serious traction there. I do believe it's a two-team race. LSU, they got money going for him, I guess. But it does seem like his best relationships are with Oregon and Miami. Just plain and simple. How each team views him, I don't know. I think we definitely view him as corner with the potential to move him to safety. I know that he's very attracted to that. I don't know what Oregon views him as, but obviously he's very interested. So I assume corner because that's what he wants to play. So I assume corner. When it comes down to it, something just tells me that he might pick the other way, and then that's just the recruitment will continue to go after and go after and go after. I don't really think whoever gets this commitment, it could relax even a second. I mean, because this is a 5-star prospect. So we understood what we went through with Cormani last time. You understood what you went through with Sampson and Francis. 5-star process. Prospects are going to have whirlwind recruitments. I mean, we had just got Francis from not committing to Tennessee, and they're throwing millions of dollars at him for the next 3 months. I mean, that's just how it goes. So the kid didn't take the bait. So we'll see how it goes. And I would probably lean Oregon right now. I just really don't have that much information besides that, to be honest with you. So I'm hoping the staff closes that. And we do have a lot of things going for you. So you could wake up one day and say, hey, you know what I'm saying? I think I'm better off as Miami Hurricane, just like what David Stone did. He was a Miami Hurricane up until 5 minutes before his announcement. And he said, hey, you know what? I'm going to go be a Sooner. So you really never know. So I think we have the correct things in place to play the long game, even if we don't win this recruitment battle right now. I do think we're set up for the long game for him. I'm also very excited for a defensive lineman, Jaquez Carter, on the 18th of July. That's one of my favorite D lineman out there. I think that was a stupid good eval. Shout out to Coach Taylor and Coach Coach Taylor, Coach Pata. There was a bunch of guys on the Coach Big Joe. But that was a great eval right there, bro.
Well, and tell me, and by the way, you read my mind because I was going to go to Carter next. So what stands out to you most when you study Jarquez Carter?
Very good play strength and first step. When you're talking about, winning, championships, everybody's going to tell you need to win in the trenches. And then everybody got a big reminder last year when Michigan won it. And that's how they won it, in the trenches. You got to get big, strong, and stronger and faster. He's big, strong, and fast. He has a really good first step, really good play strength. Reminds me a little bit of Elijah Roberts, the way he's just able to toss people out of the way with just straight up upper body strength. Doesn't really need to get into his lower body. Man, really, really, really good first step. I think he's going to be a penetrating D tackle. He can slip. A lot of these common, everybody's trying to go fast in offense, so they're keeping everything simplistic. So these offensive linemen are doing zone blocking schemes. They're going right, they're going left, and then once you slip one in that line, you could disrupt the entire running play. So you need defensive tackles who could slip gaps. So I'm super excited about that. And it's just, really when you sign, 5-star defensive tackles and 5-star defensive linemen, that next class, usually there's some guys that, and Artavius Jones is a borderline 5-star talent, in my opinion. You've never seen a defensive tackle play wide receiver. I mean, I'm sorry. He's a borderline 5-star talent. I don't care. He's too versatile. Usually you see guys shy away from signing right behind that type of class. He's a dog. He wants to go in and compete. He really doesn't care who came in. And that's from everybody I talked to. They said he's coming to put those guys on the bench.
I know you and I are both very much in recruiting mode right now, but we're less than 2 months away from opening the season. What do you think is going to happen August 31st when Miami goes into the swamp?
I think Florida's going to be a little better than what people say, just because the bar is so low. The bar is just so low. I'm like, bro, they can't be that bad. It's still year 3. You know what I'm saying? So they definitely have to be building towards something. They're building towards 7-5? I don't know, but they're going to be a little better than what people think. And it's a rivalry game. It's the first game of the year. So there's going to be mistakes made on both sides. It's a week 0 game, or week 0.5 game, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be mistakes on both sides. I do think we're going to win. I don't think they could they could score much points. Their quarterback's probably going to keep them from making mistakes. He's going to keep them ahead of chain, stuff like that. He's a veteran. That's what he did all last year. He just kept them in, game managed the game. So they'll probably hang around a little bit. But if they can't stop us, and we go on a run where we can get 2 touchdowns, maybe we get 14 points up, I feel like they can't come back to that, because I don't know. I think our offense is going to be super explosive. I think if we just get out in an early lead and make quarterback Muex play more hero ball. Definitely not his game. He's more of a sidekick, in my opinion. Not to disrespect, but I would assume we come out of that game, victorious, especially if we get out early, because it's going to take them out of their game plan. And their weapons on the outside, I don't think they're matching up with our weapons on the outside. They might have an actually really good running game. I respect their running back. He's a pretty hard-nosed football player. He's going to be a tough tackle, but we're ganging him. We're going to be 11 hats to the football. I have a hard time seeing Florida score more than 17, 20 points.
Yeah, I've noticed, and you were right. I think Florida's better than some of our fans give them credit for. And that's happening on both sides, Stevo, because whenever I talk to Gator fans, they look at, because they have the toughest schedule in the country. I get it. But they look at Miami like, oh, that's like our easy win. It's like Miami and Sanford. Those are our easy wins. Everything. So I think they're completely overlooking Miami. I think some of our fans, like you said, are overlooking them.
Yeah, that's what happens in the rivalry game. Sometimes emotions just take care of it. And I get Florida fans. I would punch in this game as a must-win too if you look at their November schedule. I mean, you gotta try to find a win somewhere.
I think that's what they're doing. It's like they don't find any wins like after October, so they're like, well, we better win that one. So let's just assume that's a win.
Yeah, that's their Super Bowl up and early. You know what I'm saying? So they got to win that one. So I give it all more power to them, bro, because they got a tough one coming. I don't think that staff will be there, come December 1st. But it's there. Like, and I get it, because I, as a fan, my first thing is I'm always gonna say, hell no, I'm gonna go, rep my Canes. I'm gonna talk my stuff, and I'm gonna give some type of analytical thing, but I could always tweak that just to fit my narrative. How fans could be. We can make it sound good, but we're definitely just fan talking, just making it sound cute. Keeping it cute. But I get it, because Florida, they play Florida State every year. I wish we could play Florida every year. It would be cool if all 3 of us could play every year. They duck the smoke, and now it's every time it's time to play us every few years. Then they want to act like they want it. I'm like, bro, come on, you denied it. Like 3 athletic directors from Miami have tried to make this like an annual thing, and you keep saying no, it's too tough. SEC, yeah, bro, you never win in the SEC anyway, so you might as well try to beat us. But yeah, they're so scary, and then when it's time to actually play, they want to talk tough. So I can't really trust Gator fans, and I'm excited. It's going to be a hot one. I can't believe they put it for 3:30. That's going to be a hot one. If you're going Canes fans, please drink some water.
For sure. Don't drink Gatorade for obvious reasons, but drink some water, drink some Powerade, boycott the Gatorade up there. But yeah, awesome job by Stevo. You want to follow him on X at 365 Canes Info. Also, Stevo, if you want to plug Instagram, YouTube, wherever you put out content, let people know where they can find it.
Yeah, you could always, if you just put in at 365 Canes Football or 365 Canes Info, it'll pop up, and then you can tap in. There's been a lot of reviews lately. There's going to be a lot more coming up. I'm sitting on a few, some that we're excited on, and I can't wait. This is definitely, we're at 16, 17 commitment now with SJ. So the class is starting to take shape. So now we're going to start being more selective. I think from now on, it's straight blue chip hunting season. And we'll see how that goes. And it starts really August 31st, because there's several players who are literally told me themselves they are waiting to see this game. And because Florida, I give them credit. They're going hard at a lot of guys. You got guys like Bryce Fitzgerald, plays with us as well, Raw, going between Florida and Miami. A guy like Ben Hanks Jr. plays with us, going between Florida and Miami. This game means a lot. So hopefully we just blow them out.
I love to hear it. So make sure you guys check out Stevo. He's one of the nicest people in the Cane space and one of the better content creators out there. So check him out. We will talk to you guys again next time on another episode of Locked On Canes. We are part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.